proactively booking appointments and using the prospecting track. Lesson 3 is about attracting business with marketing. All right? But when we do talk about that next week, we're going to show you how to advertise your listings, how you can get more business from your inventory, which is very important, yes? And we will also talk about target marketing to those neighbor to listings and neighbor to sales. Even target market to invite people to an open house. Neighbor to open house, NTO. Those are just initials for, again, what's NTS?
Neighbor
Neighbor to sale, NTL, neighbor to my listing, NTO, neighbor to my open house, you know. I mean, some are called, a neighbor to listing card would be called a just listed postcard. Does that make sense? A neighbor to sale, to notify them, would be a just sold postcard. We'll talk about that all when?
Next week.
Next week, okay? We have to take it all one step at a time. So the thing was, if last week when we parted ways, if I got you motivated enough to talk to more people than you have, like over the last week, if you talk to more people than you have in the last few months, then you did your job. Not talk about results even. Just the fact that you talked to more people, like 10 times or 100 times more than you have recently, you did your job. So if you did, yeah, give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, I know our badge was door knockers. Give yourself a pat on the back. That's good. You know, the results will come. We all want the results now. I get that. But we have to take it one step at a time. And when they start coming, it's almost like you break through something. It's like, wow, all of a sudden I'm getting 2 or 3 listings. I got a couple more coming up. And it all starts with focusing on these steps that I'm talking about, okay? So we'll talk about a GeoFarm area that you'll pick as well next week, how to keep in touch with your past clients to get more referrals, how to have the proper kind of website, and how to use social media and as well. And that's called attracting business, so that you're, you know, wouldn't it be nice to, you know, go into your office or wake up every day and when you get to work you have, you know, a half dozen input forms in your inbox. People are want to know what their home's worth. And maybe 3, 4, 5 phone calls of people who want to buy or sell. Every day though. Would that be valuable to you?
Yes.
Every day. I mean, instead of waking up unemployed every day thinking I got a cold call and I got a door knock. And there's nothing wrong with making some calls and door knocking, especially when you're building your business or to get out of a slump. But you don't want to have a whole career of doing that, do you?
No.
No, absolutely not. You want to make sure that your phone is ringing. So this isn't some sort of cold call program. The first few weeks is to motivate you to do, well, let me say it this way. Would it be okay if I motivated you to do some things you don't want to do so you can become the realtor you want to be?
Yeah.
Is that a yes? Yeah? Another yes? Yeah? You know, like, that's the whole thing. When people first start out, it's a little scary to all of a sudden say, okay, you want me to spend $1,000 a month on marketing? What if it doesn't work? You know, so the way it should be is you get proactive and you get a deal. Once you get paid, you take 25% after taxes, put it back into your business, and half of that you use for marketing. And you market the proper way, what I'll teach next week, so that it works. But here's the other thing. Listen to today very carefully, because when you're either calling somebody from an input form or a referral, or somebody called you and you're returning the call, you need to know how to convert on the phone, otherwise you're wasting a whole bunch of money. You've got to know how to convert. And the day of sitting there and giving away a bunch of information on the phone, it's gone. And you can't give it away by email or text or on the phone. You have to use all that to book an appointment, and then you give them information. And I'll teach you how to do that today. So it's a pretty important day for you. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so back on proactive activities, I just want to make sure you're aware of a few things. Sure, proactive activities won't cost you as much. Like, what did it cost you to door knock, Arbez?
Time.
Not time, money-wise, I mean.
Nothing.
I mean, you might have had some something that you printed off, maybe, so
Yeah.
maybe some printing material, but you're talking pennies.
Yeah.
You know, are less than $10 just to have a few things printed off. But you know, you still have your suit. That costs money. Remember, there's still some costs in this business. Your training you're doing right now costs you money. Your suit costs you money. Your car, insurance, the brochures you have. But it's minimal. It's an increase in net. But remember, you get a lot of rejection when you're proactive, because people didn't come to you. You're trying to reach out. So you have to understand there's the fair trade, or the trade-off. You know, you may not spend as much money, but you have to go through a lot of people to get a yes. That's the trade-off, right? So we can save more money in less time if you come across a yes. It's great for time management, gang. You know, a tip from lesson 8, and you'll notice that I just said from lesson 8, and we're in lesson what? Two. So every lesson, I talk about bits and pieces from the other lessons, meaning the other keys to success. So it's not like you have to wait for everything in its appropriate, or in its specific lesson. So a tip, time management tip. So write this down on one of your blank pages there. Pre-schedule your week in advance. Always pre-schedule your week in advance. Otherwise you're flying by the seat of your pants. Always. What do you pre-schedule? Everything in your business life, so especially prospecting. Everything in your family life, so especially dinner with your family or a soccer game for your son or whatever, okay? Dinner with your significant other, wife, husband, friend. That's important stuff. You can't put all that aside just because you're a realtor now. That wasn't the reason you got into real estate anyways. But it's funny, people get into real estate and they just toss aside their whole life. Personal, family, everything, and they're just like business zombies. And it's like nothing matters except work. They'll even go out for dinner with their spouse and talk to the person at the other table about real estate. Right? Like, oh my goodness, that's horrible when you think about it, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we got pre-schedule everything in our business. That, when I say that, everyone goes, yeah, I get that. Okay, but now pre-schedule everything for your family too. And pre-schedule everything personal, like going to the gym, going shopping for, stuff and whatever. But pre-schedule. So when if you use a phone like I do, I used to have a journal type book, the daytimer ones. I used them for decades. And maybe not decades, but for more than 10 years anyways. Then these came out, and I used to have a Palm Pilot. Anybody heard of those? Mm-hmm. It's like you had a flip phone and then you had a Palm Pilot. Basically they put those two together and that's this. Palm Pilot had the calendar in it and you could put notes in it and it would synchronize with your computer and all this stuff. I used to put it in the cradle every time I got in the office. Did you have one of those before?
Yes.
Yeah.
A pager as well.
Yeah, I had a pager, and I had a cell phone, and I had a Palm Pilot. Palm Pilot had a little plastic pen out and you could write on it. Now everything's on here, right? So let's use it. You got your calendar, go in there. You can actually, I'll give you a little tip, go to a thing called calendly.com. And I think it's spelled C-A-L-A-N-D-L-Y. E-L-Y. Calendly.com. It's cost $80 a year. And when you're talking to people, you can, I wouldn't do it too often for sellers or buyers, but anybody else, you can send them a link so they can schedule a time with you. You can schedule your hours you work, so they can't just pick any time they want. And then when it goes in here, you can even change it on here and move it to another time, and it'll send them an email automatically saying that time has changed. Right? So it's definitely worth $80 a year for me. I mean, my calendar is, I know you guys are supposed to have your phones off, so, just bear with me here, but look at my calendar. Look how busy it is. See, look at Wednesday, there looks like nothing there, because it says AM, the class here, right? But all the other days, full. Coaching clients, meetings, all that kind of stuff. So without this, do you think I could remember all that stuff that I just showed you? No. I have to have it, either written down or I use this. So make sure you pre-schedule even your window for prospecting. You say, okay, I'm door knocking at 2 o'clock, let's say. You put in your calendar, door knocking, 2 to 3. It'll allow for driving time too, right? So you put door knocking 2 to 3, and then 3 to 4 could be back at the office doing administration. But you should book all of your windows, and then book your family time, your personal time, and then you watch how do you put it, efficient you are. It's amazing. This isn't about me right now, but I want to tell you something about me, because some of my coaching clients can't believe how much I fit into my calendar. Like I'm doing a university course right now on spiritual leadership. Okay, it's a 2-year course. I have to be in class every Monday night for 2 hours. I have to read. I have an essay every week and all that kind of stuff. So that takes time, yes? I have a nutrition coach that I talk to on Zoom once a week as well. Okay, so he's somebody that I met through whatever. And then I have 15 coaching clients a week. Okay, and then I have just right now I just have one class, which is you folks. And then I also go to the gym every day at about 3:30, and that's scheduled. And when I have coaching clients in the morning, I always have a nap after lunch, just because it's a lot more energy to coach somebody back to back, like 8 coaching clients, than it is to teach. I don't need a nap when I teach. I get tons of energy, but coaching I just need a rest. And there's a couple other things. I spend time with my wife. We do stuff together. My granddaughter comes over. I can go on. There's probably 10 more things I could say. So I was telling a couple of coaching clients, we were just talking, and they were saying, I don't have time for anything. And it's amazing how scattered they are, making no money. And there really isn't a lot going on in their life. So take my tips, pre-schedule everything in advance in your day timer. That'll be the first really good good tip for you. I got a few more coming up today, and lots by the time we get to week 8. And then we have, you're not waiting. When you're proactive, you're not waiting to find business. You're going to come across somebody to talk, had a good conversation, right?
Yeah.
You know, so when you market yourself, you have to wait. But there are benefits to marketing yourself. That even though, you know, like you could send out postcards, and when somebody calls you, the quality of the lead is way up here when somebody calls you because of your postcard or your bus bench or your newsletter or whatever. Whereas if somebody sees a pop-up on pay-per-click, like a pop-up on the internet, they don't even really know who you are, it just says give me a free whatever, they fill it out, you call them, they're like, who are you, what? Oh, I didn't do that. Yeah, you did. I go, oh yeah, okay, yeah. It's not the same quality. Does that make sense? Is there an opportunity both ways? Yeah, there's an opportunity both ways. So, you know, if you want to be proactive, which I hope you all are for at least the next while until you got some commission checks coming in, you're not waiting for them to come to you, but I'm still going to teach you how to get them to come to you as well. But it helps you to be in control. Also, it helps build character if you want to make a note of that. If you're out door knocking and making calls, like I said, our career, we don't want to do that. We want them all coming to us. But in the beginning of your career, or to get out of slump, even if you're a veteran, it builds good character, and you actually get better at talking to people. You get better, as long as you do it the way I mentioned today. Because it's not about just, it's actually a one-sided conversation, is what I'm going to teach you today. Do you think the one-sided conversation means you do all the talking and they're just listening?
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite. The best realtors in town are not the best talkers. They are the best listeners.
Listeners.
All you'll ever do to book appointments is ask a question, and they'll talk. And you'll be like, oh yeah. Then they'll ask for info. You go, oh, that's a good question. I'll tell you what I could do. I could come over, and we could get together, and da-da-da-da, you know, like this. And then they say yes or no. Instead, what most realtors do is they got a question. Oh yeah, okay, we'll get back to you. Okay, thanks, bye. It's like, that was, that's like, I lost it. Right? So, but you could choose. Should I be proactive or should I be reactive? I hope you choose both. I hope you choose all 11. And then, depending how good your business is going, you can pull back on certain things. Sounds good?
Yes. Good.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a 10-minute break because it's already 10 after 11. And come back at 20 after, no later please, because we're going to get into the prospecting track. Sounds good?
Yes.
You can pause that. Any questions on what we did so far?